Uh, so first I would like to thank you everyone to coming this session. I'm Mafuja and welcome to this GRAS-Net session. And first I would like to thank Metin Memorial Foundation for organizing this as a good program, and we can interact with each other. And this is a what it called Gwangju Democracy Forum, and I appreciate their initiative. And today this session we aim to critically discuss about multilateral effort and governments and international organizations have put together to overcome the COVID-19 pandemic from the perspective of young people, especially from developing countries. We will discuss and adopt a resolution and open letter for the government and international organization. And how about can I ask about our discussant? If I don't know their name, so please let me know their name. Then we can have chat with each other and we can discuss about 10 minutes to each other, and then we can have open discussion. So I would like to request to the open discussion and GRAS-Net member to, if you have any question, then please raise your hand, and then we can discuss about the issue. So here is can you hear me, please? Hello?
Yes, if you're talking to me, I can hear you.
Okay.
Mun, Mun is how you pronounce my name. Mun.
My name is, sorry, Moon, and
yes.
Next.
And my last name is Abed. Abed.
Moon Abed. Yes. I'm Mafuja. My last name is Akhtar.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, nice to meet you.
Right?
Yes. And there is Shahnaz, maybe?
Hi, I'm Shahnaz.
Yes, Shahnaz, your name in Korean, so I know you, but this is the Hangumal, so I couldn't understand.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So, and then there's another participant here, discussant here. How about your name, please?
Okay.
Then Riz Khan.
Yeah, my name is, hello everyone. My name is Kristen. I'm sorry I can't turn on my background because I don't know how to.
Yes, and then what's your name, please?
Hello everyone. I'm Kristen. Yeah. Oh, my full name. My full name is Riston Karima Mustafa. I'm from Indonesia.
Okay.
Nice to meet you all.
Yes. And then how about another lady here?
Huh?
Okay.
Another discussant here.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Are you Fatima?
Yes, I'm Fatima. Sorry for being late. I always get lost when I come to Camden Center.
It's okay. I also have same problem. Shahnaz is very good with good things. I also have problem. I forgot to say something like this.
Yeah, so I was running actually. Nice to meet you all. I'm Fatima Al-Khadire from Jordan, human rights lawyer, specialist in refugee international law. So today, such a interesting topic. We will talk about COVID-19 and effects on human rights issues. And today I will try to collect all your comments, your precious comments, actually important from human rights activists from different countries. So today I will try my best to collect the whole information that you will provided to this session, and then we can make together an open letter for the UN. And so hope we will take many benefits today from each other. So 만나서 반갑습니다, and nice to meet you all.
Okay, thank you. She is our rapporteur in this session. And as a housekeeping rule, we will mute off. Please mute your mobile phone and also mute your phone if you have a mic, unless you need to speak or discuss anything. Thank you. So we know a couple of years, 3 years, we are in a COVID pandemic situation. And we have seen a lot of good thing happening and also bad things, like we see a neighbor and friends cooperation, and also we share food or other thing with our neighbors, and sometimes and peers, and sometimes we also have seen hoardings food and essential products, especially in the medicine and vaccine, all those things. So we have seen good things. People much more compassionate and better than before, because everyone is dying situation, so helping each other. At the same time, we saw our friend, they are holding food, and then marginal people, and also restriction is the border restriction. So we won't get medicine or this kind of product we didn't get from neighboring country or international. We didn't get any international cooperation sometimes, even for the not only vaccination, supportive item like mask and other things. So we need like a PCR test. We need, before when a pandemic started, we didn't have this. Lots of countries didn't have this. So I'm from Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, we didn't have this much support first, and we also paid money, but we didn't get the vaccine, and also this. In our friends, lots of friends, they did business with this product, even mask and some others items like life-saving items. So and also at the same time, we have seen like international community, they didn't support to us. As a result, we are overcoming slowly, but we had seen lots of cruel reality. So now we can and nation selfishness, some nation they produce vaccine and they want to holding for their people, and then also safety equipment, despite whose WHO call it is a pandemic situation, it's emergency, international emergency. We need global cooperation, but most of the time we didn't get the cooperation. So now, as a result, in poor countries and developing countries, young people suffered a lot. So we can now we can open discussion. We can have some open discussion, and then I'm interested to know about you guys, like Jordan and Indonesia. I know I always watch TV, ABC News, and I have seen Indonesian situation in Muslim country. You know, first there is a stigma around the people, so we didn't get any friend for the who passed away. We didn't get people. They didn't want to come. They didn't want to support us. We didn't have this safety equipment. So I would like to hear from you guys. Thank you so much. Who want to discuss about this thing first, please? Shanas or Moon or I can't hear anyone voice.
Maybe Fatima want to talk, but his mic is not working.
Now it's working.
Yes.
Yes. So hello again, everyone. To just a briefly background regarding COVID-19. To start, we all know that in Wuhan, in China, 2019, then the Chinese authority, they tried to cover this issue for a while. Then the WHO, they discovered this and they were declared that it's emergency, worldwide health emergency to 2020 in March 11, sorry. Then after that, the whole world makes some of the countries, but most of the countries actually, they make lockdown and they restrict regulations regarding going out, enjoy the normal life. Results of the lockdown in such countries, for example, Jordan, my country, like 100% lockdown. We can't go outside at all or to buy something. The educational system also got affected by these regulations. So the most problem in Jordan, it is many people lost their jobs and the kids, the education. The education, because in Jordan we have not that much ability regarding the most of the students, they take offline classes, so we don't have any that much experience to give online classes, and the platforms, internet platforms, even it's not that much effective or efficient actually. So this is the problem. Around 1 year lockdown. The problem too, many people lost their jobs and also the students, until now they suffer from this thing, although that now there is no restrictions at all. And most of the countries of this world, they just release all the restrictions, but still the education system, for example, in Korea, they really make an efficient system directly because they have already high technology, already they are rich country, already they care about the system, especially the educational system. But in Jordan, the two main things that people lost jobs and also lost their jobs, and also the education system was very, very bad actually during the internet thing. We have internet, but we don't have a platform, a strong platform regarding education system. Yeah, so there's 2 points regarding Jordan.
Jordan. How about Moon?
Well, for starters, this is a disclaimer. So I'm a PhD student, and I'm currently working on my proposal, which is on Gwangju and the entire 18th of May movement that happened. So my understanding was that the session was going to be regarding that, but there seems to be a confusion. But anyways, I would like to chip in my 2 cents for starters regarding the COVID issue, specifically since I work in academia and I have taught previously at the 2 major universities in Palestine, where I currently live right now. And basically what happened is that I started noticing that specifically, as Fatima said, everybody is used to taking offline classes, and the fact that we don't really have a decent infrastructure for an online educational system, let's call it. So for the first year of COVID, up until now, but majorly for the first year of COVID, teachers did not know what to do. The Ministry of Education was they were dealing with a chaotic situation that was very unique, and specifically that, you know, Palestine is under occupation. So there isn't a lot of, let's say, material that people could use specifically when it comes to online work. But personally, to me, the negative side that I started seeing, other than, of course, I agree with Fatima, the fact that a lot of people and teachers lost their jobs, the fact that universities started, because universities rely on tuition fees, so they rely on whatever the students pay. So what they started to do is they kind of would decrease the entrance grades, and they made the entrance exams way easier, to the point that we started seeing this gap when it came to students who were getting accepted for the past 2 years and this year to universities. So instead of, instead of people getting higher grades and signing up for, let's say, what we call, unfortunately in Palestine, elite subjects such as law and medicine and etc., people started, or students started getting lower grades and getting accepted to these different fields. And right now, we're not seeing the, let's say, the negative effect, but later on it's going to show, because you're going to start seeing that universities are getting, students are getting accepted not based on basis of merit, but on basis of financial ability to be able to be part of a certain university, which is one showing that a lot of underprivileged students are not going to be able, or are not able to be part of the educational system. And then later on, we're going to start seeing how the educational process itself is going to deteriorate. So we're kind of in the middle of this argument here as academics in Palestine, like what should we do? What process, what kind of merit system should we adopt right now, specifically that COVID changed the equation, changed the game entirely, but it's still an ongoing argument that we're not sure how it's going to end up. Like, are we going to rely on and focus on the financial side of things, or are we going to actually go back and focus on like the academic abilities and achievements of students in order to accept them to universities? So for now, that's my opinion. I hope it makes sense.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for your experience. And how about Rizkan? What about your experience? And can you tell us about the Indonesian perspective? What's the situation?
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Mafuja. Mafuja. Sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah. First of all, I agree with our participant about the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. It's really tough and challenges. But in Indonesia, we can see, first of all, when we first time impact with the COVID-19, the government cannot do anything, but the situation is getting better. But I think there are so many challenges today, especially like for the NGOs activities. I will remark that one because I work in some kind of advocacy NGOs. The problem is our activity is totally changed, and there are something trouble in financial problem in NGOs today. I will unravel one category, two categories. Like first of the social movement and advocacy. There's so many problem. Like we can see in Indonesia, we face the what do you call it? Like the not really unbeneficial labor policy. Such kind of labor policy which are unbeneficial for the labor. They say it's like the government responds for the pandemic because so many unemployment, and they create some kind of the policy and to make to decrease the labor right. It's the first of all. And when we can have a protest because of draconian law, they say you're not allowed to protest in the like demonstration and sometimes some kind of them. It's one of trouble. And also in the government, or especially in the parliament, they seems like do whatever they want. Like many policy cannot be, because NGOs function. One of the NGO function is to become a watchdog, and they allow to do anything. There's not watchdog because some kind of the limitation there are, and and for the NGOs human rights, it's have much more impact because there are many advocacy in different area, have the conflict area. It's fair, they have a tough challenges in there. And also for the financial, as I say, I will be make it to part the financial. Many NGOs like the democracy NGOs, because they achieve funding from government, they cannot do the activities because the government just to get the funding for solve the problem of the COVID-19. Yeah, I know it should be, but I don't know. I think there are challenges for NGOs to surviving today. Okay, another one I will be mentioned about the corruption in the government aid for COVID-19 pandemic. In Indonesia, there are trouble of the some kind of the aid from government to the society. There are corruption. Many aid, it's I don't know. They just like what we call it, like they just didn't give for the right for the sufficient or something, like didn't get too many corruption. Yeah, they give, but they cut many things like aid. Actually, it's because our aid it's a staff form, not money. Because for the many research, money aid from as a money, it very hard to corrupt that. I think there's one the problem of Indonesia, also about the problem in the health issue. Yes, of course, but I think the government already solve it and make the improvement, but I think they still have trouble that maybe the under Indonesia participant can add in addition the mention that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I hope you get my point and it makes sense. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Shahnaz, can you?
Yeah, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to having you all here, and it's a good day because we are here gathered to talk about the COVID-19 as well as about the May 89 situation. So let me talk about from the Pakistani perspective, because Pakistan is one of the largest populated country which was affected by the COVID-19. The situation was very worst. In the beginning of that, they just locked down all the country, they put all the country in the lockdown, and it was like a chaos, suddenly, because people start, crying for the food, because the country was not prepared for the food because of the certain situation. So the government said we are going to provide the food to the people, but what happened? Within a time period, people start, doing the suicide, because since from 5 days, 10 days, the government, in the grassroots level is very weak. They are not so well organized. They don't have such kind of the resources, and they just start putting the people without having kind of understanding that those are having COVID or not, they just stop all those. Secondly, the people also having a lot of issues, once the government stopped the transportation, that also created one of the great chaos in the country, because Pakistan is also, people are working in Karachi, one of the big city, and they were coming from the rural areas. So suddenly once the transportation was blocked, so many people start traveling back to their rural areas, and there was no transportation. In meantime, during the transport, going to their homeland or villages, people died on the, on the road. The children don't have a food or some kind of the water shortage. So it was like creating some kind of the chaos in the country. So sometimes even those are the daily wager people. They also make, even in the capital, some people did a suicide, which was, they are not reported, and said it's because of the normal people are depressed, and it was not highlighted. Suddenly people feel that our political right, our right to free move to outside, right to be moving, it was right to liberty become restricted, and they were unable to do anything. And then after all, the situation was also recently, the WHO says there's a large number of the death is not recorded in Pakistan. The reason was that in the hospital, when the people died, they just mentioned it's because of the liver failure, or because of the lung failure, or because of some kind of the other disease, but they did not mention about the name of the COVID-19. Because, one person could be died because of the COVID-19, but there will be right now a reason. So they just put that reason particularly. So the death ratio came down, and countries said we don't have more COVID-19 cases in Pakistan. Somehow the people is still, crying, you have to open it. If you don't have any kind of the case, why you are just locking it? But still, Pakistan faces lockdown, and then we start receiving the vaccination. That was also one of the, at that time, everyone was remembering that was a vaccine diplomacy become countries divided into the regions, and the diplomatic way and favorable way. Those countries were the part of the Western countries. They were getting the Western vaccine like Pfizer's and Moderna, where the poor country who are looking to China, that China start providing then, and that was the war between started to the major liberal world and the communist countries.
Yes.
That also created one of the chaos division, that how the democracy could work in that kind of the situation. We can see that even democracy also lockdown, you remember the France and Italy and the Britain was also under the lockdown. But I think so one of the key reason what we have to talk about is very important, that the human beings, we are just, escalating towards the natural environment, which is one of the reasons, the forests are decreasing, deforestation is getting very high. So that kind of the virus, even WHO said that we are going to face these kind of the virus very rapidly, because we are moving towards to the ecosystem rather than human population have to restrict itself. They are just cutting the jungle in Pakistan. Pakistan is on the climate change is badly affecting because of the shortage of recently. Water is also one of the reasons. So COVID-19 shortage of the water, food shortage, that created one of the food security risk in Pakistan. So the COVID-19 is not a single pandemic. It's having a lot of effect, like a political effect, it's a social effect, and it's a economic effect. So we have to be careful about when we are talking about those kind of the issue. So Pakistan is currently, even I just want to share with you, Shanghai, the Chinese big city of the population is still locked down, since from 2 months, I think. So it's a greater lockdown in China. And people are still crying that, because even I have a friend here in Chinese, they said that people cannot go outside of the China because there's a severe lockdown is going on in Shanghai. So somehow Pakistan is still, in the recovery situation, we are just getting back, but situation is not normal, because Pakistan mostly depend on the export. So the mostly factories are become, blocked, because there's no orders are coming from the foreign side. The poor countries or developing countries are based on the export-oriented economy, not as a self-sufficient. As you also mentioned that many people start, stocking of the food but even for the poor people, I was writing one of the article I was writing and collecting the data that in Pakistani side. So many people did suicide. Those were the daily wagers. because they were like on the hunger, after like a 2 week, 3 week, 4 week, and the government failed to provide them food. So many people just, recently I was also witnessed that women just jump in the river. That's surprising, with their whole family, because there was no food for them. So it's like a very big crisis, and countries failed to respond. Even WHO was inefficient because of the countries, they have their own interest rather than thinking about developing countries. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shahnaz. And also, like WHO, they were being marginalized by the rich countries. Actually,
Right.
they didn't. No one listen WHO. What they are telling. And I would like to share with you in Bangladesh, little bit of Bangladesh perspective. And we got some other participant here, and I will go and talk with them. And in Bangladesh also, same situation in the early stage of COVID-19, some people also had suicide. And they couldn't bring food for their children, so parents just suicide for the children. And in our countries, poor countries, so a dog always just here and there, so people cannot eat. How they will give the food to dog? So dog and the other cat also dying. So some people, they just voluntarily help them who had ability or who can collect some food, and they're giving them food to dog. Dog was also in hunger situation. And also in Australia, we have seen, like I'm living in a city, South Australia, Adelaide, and we have seen we are going market but not getting anything, like toilet, tissue paper. This is the one of the scarcity, one of the thing which is all people fight for the tissue, even not rice or not sugar or nothing, only for the fight for the tissue. So here is and also some these countries, they didn't wanted to give their vaccine. They want to first for their people, and then you will get further. So we have seen actually the same situation like in Pakistan and everywhere. Even in university student didn't get the proper device to do his online class. So we cannot we cannot think about the primary school education, because who is studying university, they have some little bit ability, and also they are doing little bit thing, so they have some money. But who are in a living in a rural area, and they don't have internet access. So and in this situation, circumstances, we cannot think about the device, mobile or anything they can run through their class. Okay, thank you so much. And how about there is another participant here, Nurshim. Are you here? Nurshim and Farooq Omar. Are you hear me?
Yeah. Hello.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for your thanks. You are here, and we get you. And how about this JC here? Do you hear me? Hello. Yes, and there is this Sagina here. Hello.
Yeah, hello. I'm
Do you
sorry.
hear me? Yes,
yeah,
thank you so much.
Because I'm now outside, so I cannot turn on my camera. Sorry for that. So I think my fellow Indonesian there, Rizkan, already informed you about the experience of Indonesian, especially the government in COVID-19. So I think I don't have to have many things to say right now. So focus on the GRAS-Net
Can you turn on
development.
your camera, please? We can see you. We don't.
Basically, he said I'm in the outside in public, so he cannot turn
Okay.
camera on.
How about Nur Hashim, maybe? Am I right? Nur Hashim? Are you here?
Yeah. Hello.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah.
Maybe good afternoon. You are from Indonesia, maybe?
Yes, I'm from
Indonesia.
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And thanks for joining with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And can you discuss a little bit about, in regards of like your perspective, what do you think, and how about which part of Indonesia you are in?
Thank you. My name is Nur Hashim. Right
Yes.
now, I'm student in my program. This final years,
Okay.
and I'm journalist and
Yes.
activist in freedom expression. What is the problem in Indonesia on freedom expression issue and media issue? The one of the case is the violence in journalism. This month or last month, the court sentenced the police officer who attacked the journalist in Surabaya. This is issue in Indonesia because in the law we have a guarantee that press freedom is mandatory and journalists have good information on how to cover any topic in Indonesia. But last year, the Tempo journalist, my college, Nur Hadi, was attacked by a police officer. Then he investigated about the corruption officer of the Ministry of Finance. And I think it's a big problem because it is the first time that police officer investigated the case and they sent the college police to court. Our organization, the Alliance of Independent Journalists, pressed the police officer and court that the police officer should be punished by law because so many cases in Indonesia, there is no law enforcement process because we have like immunity culture in police officer. This is big problem. It is part of the bad culture from authoritarian regime, because in the past we had several cases about the killing journalists. Until now, we haven't yet finished the law enforcement. If you look at the index of freedom, Indonesia always had not red, but so not good, because we had a problem about law enforcement in press freedom issues. In Yogyakarta, maybe 20 or 30 years, almost 20 years ago, we had a problem. We had a case about the killing of journalist Udin from Bernas. He was killed by government authority, but until now, we haven't known who is killer. It is a big problem. And in of Java, we had similar. We had several cases that immunity, the culture, violence in police officer police officer is a big problem.
So I have a comment here. Also, we stand in solidarity with any journalists. Like, we know that also last week, very important journalist Shireen Abu Akleh in Palestine. She got killed from Israeli military. It's very important. But I think like our topic today is about Corona crisis regarding human rights and local politics. So as you said about journalists and the police, he got caught regarding the Corona situation or regarding any other things?
In the beginning of the Corona pandemic, government said that they asked they asked media to not to promote, to write correct information, because in the beginning of the pandemic, so many media criticized government on policy on COVID issue, because government denied that COVID is real. You know, our president, minister of health also, they said that don't worry about the COVID-19. And media criticized the government, and so many, several media was attacked by maybe anonymous attacker. Because one of the case is Tirto, they published about the intelligence agency involved to make not vaccine, treatment method in with university. The media criticize. You shouldn't do it because you don't have authority like this. After the media and journalists published the article, they attack the media. The second also similar in tempo. They publish about the investigation about the
Nur Hashim.
Yes.
Sorry, please. Is it about? Is it for the pandemic? Because government overlooked the other things. So, so as a result, the other situation, like you are telling about the journalist killed, and so full situation. Government actually couldn't look back to look at this kind of situation. So they are thinking about the people are dying. Yeah. So at the same time, journalists killed by like a government authority or is it like this? So
it is different case. In last year, it is not COVID-19, but the last story about the anonymous attacker attacked media, and in Jakarta after media published investigation about the COVID project in Jakarta.
Yes.
So regarding your point, the government or the police attack the media because they make media coverage regarding COVID-19.
Yes.
Okay. And first, and second one, you say that some of the media, they provide incorrect information.
Yeah.
Regarding COVID-19. So this is the 2 points.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can explain about it. I just feel the same that Mr. Hasim. Actually, I don't have a capacity to tell about the media or something, but we feel the freedom of expression in Indonesia when the COVID-19 improve, it's very bad. Actually, we know the one most famous case, like I forgot, Haris Azhar and Fatima. Yeah, they reveal many problems in the human rights issue, and the government response is very bad, and seems like they just criminalize the Haris Azhar and Fatima. So that's the problem. I feel same like Mr. Hasim. The problem of the COVID pandemic when rise is the freedom of expression. We just keep silent by the government authority, like the draconian law. Yeah, it's just I feel same. This is the trouble.
Yes, it is maybe in everywhere. Pandemic in the pandemic time, like when they covered the news, even in China, still People cannot talk about, discuss about the COVID-19 thing. So everywhere, reporters are killed by or harassed by police in several times, and every country, most of the countries, maybe for the, especially in developing countries. So let's.
I can one more sentence. In the case of the after the media was attacked by anonymous attacker, there is no law enforcement. Who is attacker? Who is attacker? There is no law enforcement process.
Okay.
We just assume that they are part of the government agency or something. Yes. Because there is no transparency about how to law enforcement in the process.
Yes. Next, who want to discuss a little bit? Jesse or Omar? Please.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Yeah. So sorry that my internet connection is not stable, so sometimes I have to turn up my video. Yeah. But I keep listening to you on, guys.
Are you from Thailand?
I'm from Vietnam.
Vietnam. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too, the board, Fatima and the board. So I would like to share some of my experience about the COVID-19 pandemic in my home country. So actually, I have spent nearly 2 years in Vietnam throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. And I can see that there are some problems that most we can find out in some more countries that my friends share already. So I just add in some information, what I see that we have more quite distinct in Vietnam. The things we still have here is about the problems when so many shops and business bankrupt and close. So we come up to the situation of jobless. And the school closed and the children stay at home. And these two make the women have more suffer with the labor abuse, sexual abuse, and sometimes the domestic violence because their husband jobless and they have to face with the financial shortage. And then they get drunk on day and night. And then he feel, an inability to cover for the family, and then he put all of his angels to the wife and the children. The wife had to be the main person who take all of the household chores and as well to take care of the children, to teach the children, and then because the education they ask all children, they have the online class, and then they assign so many homework. So the mother also to be the teachers also. So I see that the women, they take many roles as a teachers, as a household wife, and then to take care of the patient who get COVID. Sometimes the father or mother-in-laws, they get in COVID, and then she's the one who take care of them also. So I can see that there's such type of the gender discrimination about this, and then it's very obvious during the COVID-19. The second thing is about the classification and distribution of the vaccine. As you know that at the first, sorry, some music. Well, yeah. Initial period, we can see that there's a big shortage of the vaccination, but this vaccination are prioritized for the frontline workers, like the military officials, the government, the local authorities.
I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. My son called me, and she is in school.
Yeah. So. Yeah, then okay. And they use this one for their families and their relatives also. So the other citizens, they have to wait, especially the disadvantages like the elderly or the homeless or someone's in a very low class in the society. So I think they a little bit violate the human rights about this one. And they have to stigmatize about the Chinese vaccine. So that's why when we have the period that we have a lot of vaccine from the China, but not many people they would like to have the vaccine. That's one. So the lower class they have to accept the vaccine from China, because if not, they cannot be wait anymore, and especially the elderly. And if they cannot get vaccine, and then when they get COVID, and then the high risk to be die, it's much more than the others. So I can see two things about my countries. The first one is about the domestic violence during. The second one is about the distribution and for the vaccine for the population. And of course, we still have the situation like Indonesia is about the media usually give incorrect data. And you know that our country is authoritarian regime. Of course, we are in progress about democracy, but the government always they control all of the information. So sometimes I don't think that the numbers of infected by COVID or the number of die people they give every day is correct. Yeah, I can see like that. So
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, everywhere is the same situation. Government doesn't want to show the data, how many people are dying, and in everywhere. But here in Australia, people doesn't want to get the vaccine. Some people are fighting for the vaccine. We are fighting for the vaccine in third world countries, but here in Western countries, they doesn't want to get the vaccine. They doesn't want to, because their body, my choice, maybe. If this is the movement called. So yes, it's a different countries, different perspective.
Yes.
And they are protesting. Why we don't want to get the vaccine? Why you are pushing us to vaccine?
Exactly.
Yes, thank you so much.
I have a comment on Jessie. She mentioned a very important, point regarding the domestic violence. Really, it's very crucial issue regarding women. I remember that I watched the news on Jordan, like people, because of the lockdown, they stay at home. So how many divorce cases in the court actually? How many people also have been killed regarding this, like crimes against the wives or even the daughters. Especially they focus on the women because they think that they are weak. So we can put all our hates or anger on them because we don't have job, we are locked down, and we are frustrated regarding Corona situation. So I would like really thank you, Jessie, for mentioning this thing.
Yes, thank you so much.
It's very crucial, actually.
I remember that in Bangladesh also the same situation here. Even in Australia, there are so many people are like fighting for the mental situation, but they have support. They can call, but some people they don't want to get the support actually. So we don't get. We have the lack of support. That's why people are suicide. People are doing suicide. People are frustrated. The divorce is happening, and also violence. So. And here people don't want to get the support from the government. They are suffering in mental illness. Thank you so much.
Which is a big problem, like the differences between the developed countries. Yes, exactly. And this is also injustice between this. People can just starving from, for example, Pakistan. They don't have Bangladesh and Pakistan. They don't have food. That's why some people suicide. And the other part in this world, no, they are already over. They have even a vaccine before other countries, but still the people, they don't want in their choices, for example, and they focused on what, because human rights thing, it's my body and this is my choice. And other world in other people in the other world, we can
actually,
say no.
Sorry, I'm interrupting you because we are Muslim, so we thought we are more conservative, but here, I got to know that. Even before I was in London, so I didn't know that the others' religion are more conservative than us. People all know in Muslim are conservative, but this pandemic, I got to know that they are more conservative than us, because they don't want to. Their religion said that this is the virus from the outside, and there are lots of things which I don't want to mention here. So they are more conservative. I found them. They are more conservative, and slowly I'm getting lots of information that they are more conservative. Not only the vaccine issue, rather than others issue, they are more conservative than us. But one thing, we cover the head. That's why they identify we are Muslim. Yeah. Otherwise, the psychologically, mentally, they are more conservative. Sorry, if there is other religion here. Sorry, I don't want to. I'm not disrespecting you.
Yes.
Sorry, guys. But here in Australia, situation is like this. When some I don't cover. Sometimes I feel cover when it's the winter, so I always use some scarf or something, but I feel like a little bit of scared, because when you cover the sea, some people cover their, not always, some people they just loudly just shout and tell something like bullying.
I understand. Yeah, totally. I understand. I hope that May 18, maybe later, can provide for us a session regarding these issues, religion and the politics thing. We can just discuss. Yeah.
Yes.
But the idea that if we can take, I have been living in Korea, 2 years and a half. It started directly in Corona. After that, I saw how the Korean government and Korean people dealt with the Corona situation. Actually, I can say that we can take Korean government an example. First, for example, they provide the vaccine for just only for Korean, but directly for a while they provide it for all, like for foreigners, from all the migrants. So I think. Like comparing with Europe countries, with, as you said, regarding your religion and some like discrimination acts, Korea, they did a good job. Korean government, they did a good job. Even the people regarding vaccination providing vaccination for foreigners, all foreigners for free. I'm one of them. And also how the people also, they just only followed the rules. This is the idea, that the people followed the rules. So the Korean government in providing the vaccine, at first they make restrictions little bit for a while, short time, regarding the migrants, but then totally they give the vaccination for all citizens and migrants and students, etc., in South Korea, regarding their religion, regarding their race, etc. So, which is a good thing, and we can take South Korean example to follow.
Yes,
actually.
and South Korea actually is made an example from the world, like make an example because Western world following South Korea. Look at South Korea. They did those things. So I am really feel proud to be part of the mains program, and now we just we have a network now in GRAS-Net, and we can sometime we can meet with each other and talk to each other. Yes, Korea. I always miss Korea when I've been there. I miss the university campus and Onsu station. Yes, so we should look at, think about the time. Our time will be finished maybe 4.
Yeah, but I just have a comment because I will write the report and the open letter.
Yes,
so I took people from Bangladesh, from Pakistan, Indonesia, and second one, the comment, she comments a very good point regarding the education. Noor, her name Muna Abed.
Noor Hashim.
Muna Abed.
Oh, Muna Abed.
Yeah, can I know her nationality?
I forgot. She told, but I forgot.
Yeah.
Noor Hashim, are you here?
She's out. Okay, so no worries. So any other nationalities they want to?
Jessie, maybe from Vietnam.
Yeah, Vietnam. We have Bangladesh, Vietnam, Pakistan, and Jordan.
Indonesia.
Indonesia. So is there any other nationality? Please, you can share Palli Palli, as the Korean they say, Palli Palli.
Yes, Palli Palli. I know a little bit, not very much.
So, yeah.
And how would I saw here is another participant here, Farooq.
Farooq from Bangladesh.
Is he from Bangladesh?
Yes. If he has any comments, yeah.
Hello,
Farooq,
everyone.
do you want to share anything?
No, I have no comments. I'm listening to you. Thank you.
No, you can have some.
Actually, during COVID situation, last 2.5 years, I was in South Korea for the GNAP program. So I actually didn't know well about in my country, Bangladesh, but I observed one thing for the due to Digital Security Act in Bangladesh, freedom of expression is highly restricted in social media, as in general media as well as social media. Because in every month, more than 50 people have been arrested by under the Digital Security Act. So media and human rights activists didn't properly disclose the Corona Association regarding scarcity, corruption on government. There's the fact. And beside this, in Korea, last year, we did a project on right to human rights city. And I think here is Shan also part of this project. So I'm
Shahnawaz.
Shahnawaz. We have two Shahnawaz from Pakistan, so sometimes we are confused. Okay, so you people already said South Korea have done well about Corona, but in the beginning, we found some data about migrant people access to public health, especially mask scarcity. So in the beginning, for the foreigners, they face some problems of mass scarcity due to national insurance, especially the unregistered people. And other important things, language barriers was another big problem for the foreigner. The migrant people don't know Korean language. So in the beginning, usually in our mobile, we got text in Korean. So Korean government, they deal with every time they are informing the situation, where the spot infected the people beside our house, in our university, in city, in union. But the text is on in Korean language. So if
you
we
couldn't understand.
If we need to take some information, so it it makes some problem. So we found mainly language barrier and some scarcity of mask, and in the beginning, subsidy, Corona subsidy, government, they gave subsidy, but later government ensured subsidy may mask and other facility for all the migrant people. So for in our research, regarding the Corona situation, mainly we found three things. One thing in subsidy. That time, it almost 1.5 years. So that time we found the subsidy. That time they didn't provide the subsidy for the foreigner, and mass scarcity, especially those people have no national insurance. Yeah, these things are important, but Korean government average they done well, Korean citizen and the migrant people.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. What do you study in Songkong-hue or in?
I studied in Chundam National University, and I was the GNMP student.
Okay. Thank you so much. And we are nearly there. So is there another participant here?
Again, me, I think.
Again, me? Okay.
I'm here to write. That's not to participate, but I participated. Anyhow.
Okay. Anyway, I'm thinking about the time.
Yes,
I
just want us to not forget about refugees and IDP people who really were suffering more and more, even in Rohingya, even in Syria, even in like different countries in the whole world. So refugees and asylum seekers and IDP people, we should also make a small comment briefly regarding them. If anyone have any comments, please let me know.
I don't know very well in a Rohingya situation. I know a little bit. I have some friend in Bangladesh. I talk with them. Even here, I have a friend who is doing PhD research about Rohingya. What it called? It is a health-related thing, women reproductive health. So I got to know that their situation in this pandemic time, their situation is not good, but somehow they got the vaccine because WHO helped us to get the vaccine for them. And China, we got the vaccine, China, then Madonna. I didn't get any Madonna vaccine, but Bangladesh, some people, even in my mother and parents-in-law, they got Madonna vaccine. So it's not very bad, but still it could be. Even I feel that in Bangladesh situation, like the people are in hunger and people don't have rights to talk. We have a security law, we cannot, we don't have like we cannot actually talk to our government because of there is a law. I forgot the law name actually. I'm not law student. So Farooq actually mentioned that. But everywhere in the same situation, even in this country, the same situation. So in COVID here, people are getting outside and getting the virus, but Bangladesh is very populated. When we go to market, we have to like this. Otherwise, people can touch us, so especially in female. But this situation in COVID in my family, only few people got COVID. Okay, so I think even in better, who are the, some countries, they are producing like they are doing carbon emission. They got COVID more actually. Nature has a law. They got their COVID situation is worse than us. So the Rohingya situation is not very good, but still they got the vaccine. That's the good thing.
Mafuja, I
Yes.
want to share about Rohingya. I don't know, Fatima, what exact point want to know about Rohingya.
Maybe she wanted to wanted to know that the vaccine. And what do you want to know?
It just only, I mentioned the refugees in general, so I
Yes,
just give an example like Rohingya. Just
Yes,
only an
in
example,
everywhere.
Rohingya. Just to not forget refugees and IDP people. Like, it's very important also topic. So it's not just only Rohingya, an example.
IDP and refugee, there is a big debate. It depends on the law and state law. And in Rohingya people, Israeli, Bangladesh government, they don't want to give the refugee status, but international agency, they are called refugee. This is another debate, but during COVID, they got vaccine. It because UNHCR and United Nations directly they manage vaccine. Even the camp in Chittagong district, Cox's Bazar district, they got vaccine before the other Bangladeshi citizen in Cox's Bazar. It because the vaccine provided by the international agency, especially UNHCR. So it's a good side, but the bad side in general for the refugee problem, especially Rohingya problem, it's now the part of the geopolitics. I went there several times and I worked there, and I know the Rohingya activists, and some are Rohingya activists, and I personally I know the Rohingya language, and still I communicate some of the Rohingya people. So there is problem most of the time. G2G, government to government, they try to repatriate the problem, but international agency, there are more than 20,000 NGO worker work there, and if the dispute solved, the around 20,000 NGO workers there will lose their job. So there's sometimes that's why they don't want to solve this problem. 3 times Bangladesh government and Myanmar government, and the mediator was China. So they try to repatriate this problem. But for the Rohingya people and NGO, international NGO, so it's really impossible. But this is the real fact I observed from the field. Even for the repatriation date, timetable, several times they fixed, and they talked between government with Rohingya peoples. They fixed also who are chief in Rakhine state, but ultimately it has been a part of international politics. I don't see in near future there is no solution Rohingya problems.
Thank you, Farooq. Thank you so much. And I also there's someone asked that draft session, and there is a open letter, so we will getting the letter. I am not actually very much like confirm that where we are going to put the letter actually. So, and I also language difficulties. Sometime I get some a Korean email, so I need to translate, and sometime I get some English mail. So this is good. Thank you. And Fatima,
Yeah.
do you want to?
No, briefly, just to wrap up the what my colleagues they said. So Pakistan, Shahnawaz, he mentioned about the food problem, and he mentioned about the vaccination thing and the problems in Pakistan and how some people suicide regarding this thing, right? Right.
Yes.
Yeah, and also Bangladesh regarding the vaccination and regarding also the food issues, and some of people also suicided.
And, yes, and also home,
lack of food and lack of the basic needs, life needs, let's say. And Muna Abid, second one, she mentioned about the educational system problem and the university, that the people now, there's discrimination. The people can get their how to say it in the university regarding their economical situation. So this is that's made a gap between the all, like, let's say that make a gap between students who are from a poor background, they couldn't apply for the university, and students who are rich also, this is a point. And Indonesia, they mention about the freedom of speech regarding the media, regarding how the media coverage according to the COVID-19, and the police and government situation, how they called people. Jessie, she mentioned some important, two important things from Vietnam about the domestic violence, and also about the stigmatized regarding Chinese vaccine. Some people, they refuse to got any shots, get the vaccination because of the Chinese, and the American is better, the Chinese is better. So it's like holy debates and doubting regarding, according to the Chinese vaccine. What was the name of the Chinese vaccine? Pfizer.
No, Chinese vaccine, not Pfizer.
Sinovac.
Sinopharma.
Right. Sorry. So Sinopharma was the Chinese, and there is some people with, some people against to take. Also, we mentioned the Rohingya COVID-19 situation, refugees. But here, let's make some solutions. Let's give some solutions to put it in the report. Yeah. So I want to ask about senior. My senior is Shahnawaz. Actually, we will learn a lot from him. Could you share your solutions regarding Pakistan situation?
Basically, I mean, we have a limited information and knowledge about the COVID-19, but I believe that how to deal this, basically, I have no idea, but what we have to think about, the WHO is the key. We have to follow these guidelines and we have to countries should be cooperate with each other to overcome on such issues, because you cannot, suppress the political rights, like, liberty of speech, freedom of movement, and freedom to having a job, like a freedom of economic and livelihood right. Those are the rights which cannot be suppressed under the name of the COVID-19, because most of the government is trying to suppress those rights under the name of those. And it happened, in many countries, they just restricted the people's movement and freedom of speech and freedom of movement. I mean, like in underdeveloped countries, they are looking for the jobs. They are looking for the economic support, because the poverty level is very, very high over there. Like, for example, in Pakistan, like 99% of the population is living below poverty line. So when I say 29% is like Pakistan have a 220 million population. So you have to consider that around like a Korean population, 5 million people are living below poverty line around. So we have to think about how to be incorporate those people in the economic situation. So the government have to be cooperate with the international, UN agencies, those who are working on those systems, and make some kind of the, agreement or some kind of the schedule, or make some kind of the international guideline how to be faced. But it's also again challenging. We are looking to the China, where this, everything becomes challenged. Even the WHO position was challenged because they consider that WHO is a pro, liberal institution authority. No one wants to be accept their, decision. And when they talk about with the China, they said, oh, how can we accept, maybe you are talking on the behalf of the China. So countries have to be unanimously think about the humanity. It's a very important and key challenge. Instead of talking about any kind of the ideology, we have to come united on the name of, first of all, the humanity. Second, and then we have to follow the UN, especially the WHO guidelines, which is just sharing with the countries that how to deal in the COVID-19 situation. Like, for example, if it's the COVID-19 situation in Jordan, if it's a situation in Bangladesh, if it's in Indian, or it's in Pakistan, or if it's Korea, you have to have some kind of the basic fundamental guidelines are available over there. But sometimes countries just, ignore those guidelines because for their own interest. So the first that we have to should work as a humanity point of perspective. Second, we have to follow the UN WHO mandate, which is given about the COVID-19 guidelines. Thirdly, the countries have to think about like an economic cooperation between those underdeveloped countries, like in Africa, Liberia, like Kenya. Now we are talking about here just only Asia, but even in Asia, in Pakistan or India, I don't know about the Bangladesh situation, but if we are looking, then people are below poverty line, so they need economic aid. First, we talk about the political right, which we talk about the liberty of the, freedom of speech and liberty of the jobs, and those economic rights should not be suppressed. Second, we also just saying about those rights. After then, economic cooperation between the countries are very, very important for the poor countries who are just, Pakistan is like a verge of the default. Similar situation happened recently, we witnessed in Sri Lanka, where the people are now fighting for their food on the street. They don't have a food. Even their minister said that Sri Lanka is going to be having a severe food shortage within 1 week. So Pakistan also having the same situation because we don't have even foreign reserves. So the economic cooperation is key of the countries to give the grassroots people, some economic support or livelihood support, some kind of the activities. We have to do those kind of activities. So in my idea, those are the three, key point. The first, we have to be act on the name of the humanity. Third, the countries should not restrict the political and civil rights, which I named you. Third one is economic cooperation is the one of the key, which is the people below the poverty line and living in a, marginal situation should not be ignored by any country or any. So for that, overall, the UN have a mandate to broad the countries, UN formed under the mandate of the peace and reconciliation, and the humanitarian agenda was the key of those areas. So we have to think about what the UN role is now playing and what role should be played by the United Nations, especially because every agency have their mandate. So the WHO have a mandate to talk about the health issues. Similarly, I think so. The UNDP is one of the organization only talking about the economic right. So those agencies, we have to cooperate for the countries and build some kind of sustainable development agenda to fight back with the COVID-19.
Thank you, Shahnaz. And there are two participants that didn't talk to us. And here is Chen. Can you hear me, Chen? Can you hear me? Chen?
Chan? You mean Chloe Chan?
Yes, Chloe Chan. I just got to know that she's or he's here maybe. And then Salindari, M. Salindari. Sorry, Mohammad Salindari. Can you hear me? Okay. Then we can wrap up. And this has been a very rich and passionate discussion. And I wholeheartedly thank you, everyone. Thanks, everyone, that you've been here and for your cordial contribution. And hope we will meet again and we will discuss later on this issue or another issue. Always issue is coming. We have to fight. We cannot stop fighting because we have some people are always. We need a balance all, but this is not a just word. Always some people are like making imbalance for us. Some people poor and rich gap. So we need to continuous fight. So thank you so much. And next time we will fight for another issue maybe. So we will see next time. And I hope everyone enjoyed. I enjoyed with us, with you guys. And after a long break, I can see you all face and new face actually. I don't know about, I only know Shahnaz. I don't know you, all of them. And thank you so much.
Yes, just one last comment. If anyone want to add anything, please,
yes,
you can send for May 18 your comments, your recommendation, anything you want to add it, and then May 18 can send it for me. Great job, like really nice to meet you. I got a knowledge today, a rich knowledge today, so thank you so much. And nice to meet you all, nice to meet you, really.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And Fatima, are you going to send us a draft the resolution, like before sending
yes, of
the
course.
letter?
Yeah. I will let everything, like I will update all the things to May 18, and May 18 can send it for all of you guys. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
For sure.
And really, I appreciate your time and effort. Thanks. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
We can have a photo, maybe. We can have a
Want
photo.
to have a photo? Yeah, we can.
Yes.
Okay. Although that I look like Ajamma today, you know.
No, you are still looking young,
You look
Fatima.
beautiful. You look beautiful.
More younger.